guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on the dairy food group. It was kind of hard to come up with some dairy ideas other than a milkshake or a cheesecake, but those aren't really that healthy. So I thought today we would make ghee. If you've never heard of ghee, it is actually kind of like clarified butter, where you're boiling down the butter to extract the oil from it. So it's a really good thing to keep around the house. You could use it for sauteing. It's shelf stable, so you don't have to keep it in the fridge. And it just really has an intense buttery flavor. And all you need to get started is a pound of butter and a pot to simmer it in. Let's get started. Of course, we can't leave the paper on, so the first step is to take all the paper off the butter. And then we're going to use our butter knife to cut it into cubes. I let my butter become room temperature so it'd be easier and safer for me to cut. Okay, now that my butter is chopped, I'm going to add it to my pan, which I've actually been preheating on the lowest setting possible. Here we don't want to burn our butter. We don't want to caramelize it and turn it into toffee. You could do that some other time. We just want to burn off the milk solids, leaving just the oil or the ghee behind. As you can see, I've just put it in and it's already started to melt and separate. I'm just gonna move it around a little bit with my spatula, just so that the heat is distributed evenly and everybody's melting together. And once this becomes liquid, then I'm gonna show you what to do next. While the butter is melting, let's talk about the dairy food group. So things in the dairy group would include milk, cheese, cream, yogurt, and whey. True dairy comes from mammals, which you'll remember are things that bear live young, have warm blood, have a layer of fur, and produce milk for their offspring. So the ghee is going to have to simmer for about 25 minutes. So we're going to set a timer. 25. See? And in that period, we're going to have to skim off some of the foam that forms on top. That foam is part of the milk solids, and we just want to leave the liquid fat behind. If you're doing it right, your ghee is going to be casein and dairy free. Yeah, I meant to say casein and lactose free, not dairy free. Sorry. And have a long shelf life. So we're just going to scoop those off when it's time. So you can probably see that there's some white foam on top, and that's what we're going to scoop off with our spoon. Those are the milk solids that we don't want in our ghee, otherwise it's not going to be shelf stable. As you can see, it's separated into the oil and the milk solids. I've scooped off as much as I can, but to scoop all of it is a Sisyphean task. So at this point, we're going to strain it into our jar. So part of this whole jarring process is you're going to have to strain the milk solids away from the liquid fat. So I'm going to prepare my jar with a piece of muslin and a rubber band. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of muslin on top of the jar, tuck it in just a little bit so that my liquid has a place to go, and then wrap a rubber band around it. Let's make sure that all the edges are outside of the jar. You don't want it to fall in, because then you're not going to separate your milk solids. Old shaky hands. Can you see? Inside the jar, there's just a little pocket, and that's where we're going to pour everything. So I have my jar, which we fitted with muslin. You could also use a cheesecloth or a coffee filter. Any sort of filter will do. I just happen to have muslin, so that's what I'm using. So what good is ghee, you're all clamoring to know? You could actually use it anywhere that you would use oil. So if you're frying, you could use it if you're sauteing, if you're pan searing, and it's really good actually for frying because it doesn't have those milk solids, so you can fry at a higher temperature without it smoking. We don't want to set off any fire alarms. When you're pouring, you want to go slow and steady.
Instant replay.
So my ghee is mostly strained, you can see. However, there's still a little bit of milk solids at the bottom, so I'm gonna strain it again. This time using a paper towel instead of a muslin, and just see how that works.
Check it out, it already looks much smoother.
So after straining it a few times, we have our lovely lactose and casein-free, shelf-stable ghee. It is pretty tedious, but if you're up for the challenge, please let me know how it comes out. I would love to see it. Bye! So what good is ghee? Wait, where's the camera? Oh. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on the dairy butter that equals a pound. That's not what I wanted to say. Now that my butter is chopped, I'm going to add it to my pan that I've been heating on just a little bit. I'm bouncing.
Hello.
You can fry it at a higher temperature and it's not going to... It's particularly great in frozen. We just want to burn off the milk. This is a lesson in patience. Gonna drop the camera. And in that So at this point, we're gonna drain it into our jar. So at this point, no. But you can kind of see the difference with the color. The difference. I'll just voice over this part. And the frame. And then just put a rubber band around the top. Any sort of filter will do with it. So at this point, we're gonna drain it into the... Oh my gosh, I made ghee. I've never made ghee before. I'm like proud.